to Studio 11 at the Bethlehem Public Library. Today I'm going to walk you through some of the basic features of the studio. What it is a 32-input digital recording studio based around this Behringer X32 and a Macintosh computer with lots of great software for loops, beats, MIDI stuff, all the good stuff. We have lots of microphones as well for capturing voices, instruments, whatever you want really. It's a beautiful big room that's here for you. To start off, I'm going to show you how to turn everything on in the right order, but for more in-depth descriptions of what's really going on behind the scenes, you can see my tutorial. That's great. So let's get over here. Here is our power strip, which connects to all of the gear over here. And that's on. Okay. Next, we're going to turn on the computer. And as you can see, the blue lights kicked on the keyboard, so they're going to start to talk to each other. After that, go back behind here to the power button of the Behringer X32 digital console and flip that on. And last, as always, are the monitors. Since nothing else is being turned on, nothing can pop into these right now. So we're safe to turn them on. And right here. Cool. We're powered up and ready to go. Now that we're all turned on, you can see the glorious dual monitor setup going on here. So you could have your tracks on one side, your music on the other side. But before we get to that, the first thing you're going to do is click on BAPL Guest to get access to the digital audio workstations. Digital audio workstations are the programs like Reaper, Logic, and GarageBand that we use to record music into the computer. It's what we use to edit and arrange everything, apply effects, all that good stuff. So I'm going to start off by clicking open Logic Pro X that we have installed here. I'm going to let that load. Logic would be the program you'd use more for making beats and doing soft synth stuff, that kind of thing. We also have Reaper, which is great for recording like live bands, using mics, that whole thing. So we're going to let Logic load up, and then I'm going to run you through a nice signal chain going from the microphone to the board, all the way in, and I'll show you how this thing works. Alright, so now that Logic is loaded up, we have 4 different track types that it gives us. We're going to be using a microphone, so we'll select the microphone icon, which underneath it says record using a microphone or a line input. So we're going to select that one, and then input 1 comes up by default. Now input 1 on here directly relates to input 1 on here, and the cable goes in input 1 on the back for microphones. It's real simple, real straightforward. We'll get more into that later. So I selected input 1, and I hit create, so our track is created. So this is XLR input 1, which we have out in the live room here, going to one of those 2 microphones. Now I need to arm that track to be able to record it. And that's the button to do that right there. Okay, so now that we have our track armed for recording, and it's blinking red, so it's record enabled right now. Now that it's armed like that, I'm going to show you the whole signal chain from the microphone all the way back to in the computer. So, here in the live area, we have this microphone, a Shure 58, connected to an XLR mic cable with a little purple thing on it, which actually helps you know which one it might be back here. You follow the cable. The purple one is in mic input 1 on the digital mixer. Alright, now that we know our signal chain, let's move on to the board. We have mic 1 back here like I showed you. It's in channel 1, and right now that mic input is selected, and when it's selected, that means that all of these knobs are controlling something about that sound. We'll mainly be using this gain knob to control the volume of that microphone. This is the main thing that'll be affecting how much of the signal goes to your programs like Logic and Reaper. Now there's some more advanced features like adding compression and EQ, but we'll get to that later in like the tutorial part of it. When you're recording and you want to hear yourself through headphones, you can bring up this fader to control how much volume of yourself you're hearing. And that doesn't affect the signal going to the actual recorder. So you can crank this all the way up and it's not going to make the computer clip or anything like that and distort and sound weird. Okay, so now that we have a feel how to get the mic signal into here and over to the computer, the next thing we do is adjust the gain on the microphone so that we can see it in the meters here. You can see some signal going on. And I'm going to show you over here on Logic, on the track that we armed, that we do in fact have signal there. It's that easy. And like I said before, for any further information on affecting the signal on the way in, you can see the written tutorial where I'll talk a little bit about adding EQ and dynamics to the signal. Alright, so before we record, it's important to know how we're going to be listening back to what we're recording, as well as the playback of what we recorded, any other music we have in the program. So right here, this knob controls the send of volume to the monitors up here. As you can see, there's a little speaker icon above it, which is helpful in remembering what that's for. Now, whenever we have this knob up, we need to make sure we have muted any open mic channels as to not cause any feedback in here. So, in this case, I'm about to test the microphones out there, so we're going to have this down, and I'm going to be using this send right here that has a headphone icon above it to send volume to the headphones. Now, there's a jack on the side of the mixer for headphones, and also on the other side. And this jack on this side, we run out to the live room on the floor where we have a headphone distributor that gives us up to 5 pairs of headphones we can run to other people recording in the room, which is pretty cool. You can have a whole group of people with headphones on in here. But for this test, I have 1 pair of headphones set up here at the microphone for myself, so let's get to it. Alright, so we already have track 1, which I'm going to use for vocals, but we're not going to record on that one now, so I'm going to disarm that and insert, by double clicking, a second track, which I will arm and then change that input to input 2 from the digital mixer, like we went before, just 1, 2, right down the line, really nice and simple. So now I have my second track set up to start off recording guitar, and then I'll put some vocals over this. I'm going to click record up here. Okay, we are recording. Okay, so I'll be recording this guitar into this mic here, which is going to input 2, like I showed you. And then after I get this basic track down, I'm going to put some vocals in on input 1. So here I go. Okay, so let's listen back to what I just recorded, but first, if you remember, we need to mute the mics that we're on right here before we bring up the monitor level. So I'm going to hit play and slowly bring this up. That sounds great. Cool. So I'm going to move on to recording a little vocals on top of this next. Okay, we're ready to record the vocal track over this on input 1. But before I do that, I need to disarm input 2, which is what we just recorded, because we don't want to record over that. So I'm arming track 1, and now input 2 will just play back like normal. So I'm going to hit record and run out to my mic. Hope this isn't too high. Okay, now we're going to listen to both tracks. Okay, they're starting to play over there, but before I can listen, I'm going to mute those, and we're going to bring up the monitor. There I am. I'm going to turn myself down a little bit. And there we go, there's our little quick mix of those 2 inputs. Now that we know how to do audio inputs, I'm going to insert a soft synthesizer, which we control with this USB keyboard right here. It's incredibly simple to do that with Logic. That's why I recommend that program for doing beats, loops, soft synths, and stuff like that. So we're going to go up to track and go to new track, and it's going to bring back this familiar pane. Right here, we're going to click software instrument and create the track, and you immediately have access to the synthesizer. And then it's just a matter of going through and seeing what synth you want to use for the particular project. I would guess that a string would be good for this. Yeah, something like that would be beautiful for this, and it's just a matter of taste, whatever you like. Once your project is finished, you're going to want to bounce it and save it, and then put it on your own drive or upload it to yourself. The library is not going to be responsible for holding all these files, but that's the only limit we put on you. The rest is just your creativity. You can do whatever you want with all of this. Okay, so once you have your project saved, you're going to go through the whole shutdown process, which is a very specific order so we don't damage anything, just like the turn-on process. The first thing we're going to do, though, is exit Logic, or whatever program you're using. Okay, so we're out of there. Then the next thing we do is shut off the actual speaker monitors here. Just in case, we turn something off and something pops through those, they're off now, so any weird signal pops that might happen, they're not going to potentially damage the speakers. And next, we're going to shut down the Behringer Digital Console, and go over to the Mac, and shut that down. And once these blue lights go off, we'll know that it's completely off. Okay, it is gone. And then lastly, we'll turn off the power strip for everything here. Well, like I said before, there's a lot more depth we can go into. I'm going to have a tutorial that's going to go in more on the board and a little bit more about mic technique and stuff like that. But also there's tons of YouTube videos out there that we're going to hopefully kind of compile so you can learn more about the board and about the different recording programs, the software, the plugins, all that good stuff. So check back for that, but there's going to be lots of info for you to learn how to use this better. But look forward to hearing what you make here.